Tough game today as the Minnesota Lynx took on the Indiana Fever. Caitlin Clark versus Olivia Miles, the marquee matchup that everybody wanted to see. And we got to see it, and I was not disappointed. This was one hell of a basketball game, regardless of what anybody says. And don't let anybody tell you that this happened, that happened, whatever. I'm going to tell you what happened and you know what the takeaways and all that in 1 second, man. But before we get started, make sure y'all like the video and comment y'all thoughts down below, because y'all already know we're trying to go with this thing to the moon, Alice. Hey, if nobody told you this today, y'all my brothers, my sisters, my family. Love each and every last one of y'all. Getting straight into it, back just like we left something. Indiana Fever fall to the best team in the league, the Minnesota Lynx, and they got a motherfucking squad over there. I'm not gonna lie to you. You got Olivia Miles, Nafisa Collier, Natasha Howard, Kayla McBride, and Courtney Williams. Like, bro, that's a death line. That's a crazy lineup. And you only lose the game by 8 points. Cut it to within 4 late, down by as many as 15. And I felt like they had some opportunities, but we're gonna talk about the good first, and then we'll talk about the opportunities and stuff like that. Aaliyah Boston is now 4th all-time in franchise history with 2,245 points and counting. Kelsey Mitchell, fifth game this season of 30 points or more, and this is her 14th straight game with 20 points, 6 off of the mark set by South Carolina's finest, A'ja Wilson. Yes, Lord. And then also the 6th straight game. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th last game, but a lot to be proud of, because you come out and you hang 100 points on the Minnesota Lynx, who are giving up 83 points a game. So not a whole lot to be ashamed of. We're gonna go straight to the box score and just look at this and tell you where I feel like where the game was lost. We're gonna go to the overall box score first. So the overall box score with the stats, like, it wasn't shooting 57%, they shot 56%. It wasn't the threes. Both teams hit 11 threes. You hit 40, we hit 46%, they hit 44. Indiana hit free throws was exactly the same. So we can't, there's nothing to complain about here. The only thing that you can say that could have been done better, this is where the game was lost. Offensive rebounding, 5 to 11. You got to do a better job of boxing out. And especially when Natasha Howard is out of the game for as long as she was. Got to do a better job of boxing out. But Aaliyah Boston was out a lot as well with foul trouble. But 12 turnovers to 6, no excuse for double-digit turnovers. Coach say you got to take care of the ball, and the assist-to-turnover ratio is crazy. That's like 50%. They almost had they had over 4 times. There's like 4-1 for them, right? And you got, and yours is like 2-1. So that's where the game was lost. The Minnesota Lynx, they play great defense. We understand that. On top of that, there was some shot selection at the end of the game that I felt like was iffy at best. Let's look at the good though. In the beginning, like we said, listen, Monique Billings, 3 out of 5. Lexi Hull, 2 of 2. Aaliyah Boston, 7 out of 14. Caitlin Clark, 8 out of 18. Kelsey Mitchell, 14 of 12. Like, there's not a whole lot here. 101. Sophie Cunningham shot 50%, 101 from 3. Michaela Thompson, 7, and a great backdoor cut with Aaliyah Boston, which we're going to talk about that more in 1 second. But then when you got, like I said, you got Nafisa Collier, Kayla McBride, Natasha Howard, Courtney Williams, and Olivia Miles. Olivia Miles had 23 in the first half, and she pretty much just offset Kelsey Mitchell. She had 23 in the first half. That was, she said, that was her welcome to the NBA moment. But like, there wasn't a whole lot of missing. There were some times where they came off Kayla McBride at the end of where they came off of Courtney Williams at the end of the game when they ran the trap, because they began slowing Olivia Miles down. They started running the trap second half. At the end of the first half, they put Raven Johnson on her, and they also had Kelsey Mitchell picking her up full court, got a great steal, goes in for the layup with the right hand. They started putting pressure on her. But Kayla McBride picked Caitlin Clark up from the airport, drove her to the game in an Uber, escorted her to the locker room, walked with her onto the court, and proceeded to defend her the entirety of the game full court. It wasn't a lot of double teams because they needed some help with Kelsey Mitchell, but that's how it felt, because Kayla McBride today it appears, sacrificed her offensive game in order to defend Caitlin Clark and pretty much just defend her full court the entire game. And I can't even get mad at it because they understood what the assignment was. You got to slow down Caitlin Clark. You got to stop Caitlin Clark. And then you got to make it hard for her to do things that she would like to do. What I would have liked to see, I would have liked to have seen Raven Johnson in the game a little bit more. Like we said, we saw at the end of the first half, but Olivia Miles was on the bench at that point in time. And if you'd have had Raven Johnson playing her a little bit more and freeing up Caitlin Clark and also Kelsey Mitchell a little bit more off ball, I think that would have helped a lot. But then again, that would have been tough because you got to deal with Nafisa Kaya, Natasha Howard, and Kayla McBride. You know, you have a size disadvantage in a case like that is more or less what I'm saying. But maybe you could have just kept blasting. Now, there was a time that I feel like the Indiana Fever should have made an adjustment. There was a time at the end of the first half and partially through the second half where Natasha Howard had to sit down because she was in foul trouble, and Olivia Miles had to sit down because she was in foul trouble. They were on the bench together for about 5 minutes. Now, she was, even though they were up 15 points, and like we said, the Fever cut it to 4 points at the end and only lost by 8. I feel like I said, I ain't gonna blame coach, and I'm not gonna say any of that because the players could have done this as well. I think that they probably should have had Aaliyah Boston in the game, and they should have been at least 3 or 4, maybe 5 possessions in a row. They should have given that ball to her while you had an advantage with no Natasha Howard in the game, and just see what she could do, see what she could create. It came down to the wire, like you said, they cut it to 4 points. And then I didn't like at the end of the game, there was one play, like you said, Kayla McBride didn't play that well today. Didn't play that well today, and they doubled off. They started trapping Olivia Miles, and they had some success with that. Start trapping the screen. They trapped the screen one time, got a turnover. They trapped it again, and then the ball got to Courtney Williams, and she makes the bucket. I would have liked to have seen them double off of Kayla McBride instead of doubling off Courtney Williams in that situation. But hey, you live and you learn, you understand, because Courtney Williams got once Olivia Miles had to go sit down and she was cooling off or what have you, Courtney Williams just turned it on. She was hot as a pistol. I would not have come off of her. She's nice mid-range jump shot, good elevation, way to attack the basket. Just played a great game, some good passes, all of that stuff. So I would, like I said, my takeaways were when you had an opportunity when Olivia Miles and Natasha Howard out of the game, I would have liked to see them go to Aaliyah Boston or even KK inside a little bit more. And at the end of the game, when the game was down, when they were just down 4, they started taking threes too early. You didn't need threes. It was like 4 shots. I think Caitlin took a couple of threes, and then Kelsey Mitchell took a 3. I didn't like that. I felt like he could have just got a bucket inside. It was a minute and a half left. There was plenty of time left. And then the one that really hurt really bad, Aaliyah Boston on that travel. They ran a great play, DHO, and she's wide open up top. She rubs off the screen. Both go with Caitlin. Courtney and Olivia Miles went with Caitlin. They throw it out to Aaliyah Boston at the head of the key. She travels, man. That was tough to watch. I'm not gonna lie. But hey, what's not tough to watch is gonna be these highlights, man. Because like I said, you hung at 100 points, 6 straight games with 100 points. You hung 100 on a team that normally gives up only 83, and they're clearly the best team in the league. So, and you went into their place and you played well. So it is what it is. You can always play better, but they played well. Let's get to these highlights though, man. Here we go. Early post work from Aaliyah Boston. Would have liked to see more of this right here. Would have liked to see more of this right here. Boston. Look at that bucket. Like she was like Natasha Howard was the primary defender on her, and I feel like if she's doing that with Natasha Howard in the game, I can only imagine what would have happened if they would have given her the ball with Natasha Howard out of the game. But that's just my opinion right there. So hey, ball movement. Here we go, coming down. Look at that kick out. Kelsey Mitchell early. Trays up. Splash down. Great bucket right there. That's just good ball movement. Here we go again. Look at that. Monique running the floor. Get it out early. Look at that. You got to put them. I feel like the only way that you're going to really beat Minnesota is you got to put them in a spot where they have to play defense. And they did the Fever did that for the most part. It was just, like I said, some questionable threes at the end, in my opinion. But I don't know if that was coaching or what. Look at this. Like, you're doing this with Natasha Howard on the floor. You're getting shots like that. These are the shots that I would have liked to see them take when Natasha Howard was out. And you even got Lexi Hall right here. You can even hit her with a quick pass. Midi fade, bang. Like, if you're banging shots like this, here we go. Kelsey Mitchell buries her third three of the quarter. Here we go. Sophie Cunningham to Mitchell. Bang! Look at that. Look how deep she is, bro. That's a logo shot. She's just not standing on the logo, but she's as deep as the logo. Hey, big bucket right there. Look at Courtney. Hey, Courtney, I ain't gonna lie. Courtney Williams might be one of my new favorite players, man. Look at that right now. She's boxing. She battling with Monique down low right there. She wasn't gonna get the board. They probably would have called a foul if Kelsey misses that, but hey, it is what it is. Kelsey Mitchell, fourth triple, 17 points in the first quarter. Here we go. You put somebody on a step back. Look at that, bro. Two defenders right there. FaceTime on two defenders right here. Bang! I mean, it was just a great first quarter. Great game to watch. Like I said, Caitlin Clark fires away from deep. We know that she does way better on catch and shoots. These are the things I think that they're going to have to figure out. Do you put another guard out there? Do you let Kelsey Mitchell run the show? Or what? But Kelsey Mitchell getting buckets, so you can't really let her run the show. Caitlin comes off of this. She shoots a much better percentage when in catch and shoots. Here's another Caitlin Clark from three. What do you notice about this? It is a catch and shoot. You got Aaliyah Boston on a pin down screen. Here we go. Caitlin is set up, 2 feet down. You're not going to get that through Aaliyah Boston. There's the pin down. Pull up, drank, headshot, drank. Like, this is the stuff that you want to see. Like, I understand how dangerous Caitlin is with the ball, but I think she's just going to have to get to the point where she understands that she's like Steph Curry, where you're more dangerous without the ball. Here's that steal. This is what we would have liked to see a little bit more, but I would have liked to see this be Raven Johnson. But here, great defense, sliding those puppies. Here's a steal right here. Here she goes. Hey, Kelsey, look at the body. Look, initiates the contact. This is what I love. Initiates the contact right there. And then right hand. Kelsey, I know you've been watching the videos. You lay that thing up with the right hand. I love it. Love it. Absolutely love it. But, and then here's another Kelsey Mitchell drills a three, tray ball, bang! This is just a good play right here. Like, that's just a Kelsey Mitchell, another shot. We got 2 more of them. Here we go. Kelsey Mitchell 5 for 5 from 3, top of the key. Look at this. Catch, shoot, steps into it, trays up, splash down. Like, you gotta love the ball movement. And then last but not least, we got Caitlin Clark finds Kelsey Mitchell on a backdoor cut to make it a 5-point game with 3:33 left. And this is what I'm saying. Like, you got, I want to say that's Natasha Howard up top. That's definitely Natasha Howard. But you got Natasha Howard. Like, there was a time when Natasha Howard didn't even exist in the game because she was on the bench. I would have liked to see more of this. I would have liked to see more of that while Natasha Howard was out. And this is, you see right here, this is where they cut it to 4 points right there. We'll cut it to 5. That's where they cut it to 5. They had it down to 4 at one point, but it just is what it is, man. You can't win them all. Again, I don't know if that's coaching. I don't know what that is, but I do feel like if the Indiana Fever had attacked the fact that Olivia Miles and Natasha Howard were on the bench more, running more actions like that instead of, 3 hunting and stuff like that, I think if Aaliyah Boston was in foul trouble, so I will give them that. But I would have gone at Natasha Howard as soon as she came back and tried to make her sit down in the fourth quarter, and I would have tried to see if Aaliyah could suck it up and go ahead and play a little bit more. But y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comment section, man. You can't win them all. You won. Hey, the Lynx have won 10 in a row. The Fever had won 5 in a row. Something had to give. You got 2 teams on a winning streak. Some got to give. The Lynx, they won. They were the better team today, and they're the best team in the league. So we'll see how that goes, man. They got a dog ass squad, and they stepped up. But y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comment section, man. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. Like the video, hype the video. We dropping this type heat every day of the week. We will be streaming the next game, so make sure y'all there. And I'm gonna holler at y'all next time. Till next time. It's your boy Jay Easy, aka Fresh from the Barbershop, BK the People's Champ. Godspeed. I think I covered everything. But I would like to see Caitlin play a little bit more off ball and because her catch and shoot percentage is so good, and it keeps you from getting tired out. And then I also would like to see a world where they would have pressured Olivia a little bit more from end to end, even though, they did. And when they did, they had a lot of success. The traps were working, but, I think it was just a little bit too late. And you still had a chance to win the game, but those bad threes down the stretch, they just cost. And I'm out.